Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. Judy here. If you fight for freedom, democracy, human rights, and science, you've come to the right place. And my friends, before we dive into today's topic, please allow me to thank the friends who bought me coffee from my website last week. Thank you so much for your kind support, my friends. Thank you. My friends, as you might know, I've talked some topics about dogs and cats because I'm an animal lover. Like I've said many times, I'm a huge dog lover. And I had two dogs, Candy and Ben. If you would like to know them, please read their stories in the free book, Candy the Dog. And if you like reading poems, you can also find Candy and Ben in one of my poem series, Ben the Hunter. Moreover, they have appeared in some of my short stories. If you like reading stories, especially ghost stories, please check them out on my website or Amazon. I think you'll like them. Yeah, I've also adopted two kittens. Like I said in my last video, in which I talked about cats' dementia and human Alzheimer's disease. If you haven't watched it and would like to know the details, please check it out in the description or comment. Right, I bet you guessed it. Today, I'm gonna talk about cats. You see, my friends, traditionally, it was believed that cats became human companions through gradual introduction into farming communities. That they followed Neolithic farmers into Europe around 6,000 years ago. But two new studies suggest that domestic cats arrived in Europe in multiple waves, showing that their arrival was more recent and complex than previously thought. Yes, their studies showed that the spread of domestic cats was driven by cultural, religious, and trade factors rather than merely by their association with agriculture. The research teams used a combination of nuclear DNA analysis, Asian cat bones, and mitochondrial markers to trace the origins and spread of domestic cats. One team focused on ancient cat genomes and carbon-dated remains, finding that cats did not appear in Europe until after the first millennium BCE. And based on their genetic analysis and archaeological evidence, domestic cats likely originated in Tunisia. So, according to their study, domestic cats descended from the African wildcat subspecies. Another team focused on animal bone measures, suggesting that domestic cats had already appeared in Britain by the 4th to 2nd centuries BCE, possibly brought over during Iron Age because of cultural and religious factors. Yes, religious factors. The researchers of both teams found that the successive historic introductions of cats of antiquity to Europe can be traced first to the Egyptians because of religious reasons. According to their studies, there appears to be an explosion of domestic cats in the first millennium BCE because of cat sacrifice for goddess Bastet. And according to the genetic data, some researchers believe that Egyptian cats represent the domestication of a specific population of African wild cats. So the researchers found that cat sacrifice for goddess Bastet caused the spread of domestic cats. Speaking of goddess Bastet, if you're not new to my YouTube channels, you might know that I've talked about her on my main channel, Judy London series, Let's Talk. Yeah, I talked about her in the video, How the Cats and the Ancient Egypt. If you haven't watched it, please check it out in the description or comments. So, as the Egyptian goddess of protection, pleasure, and good health, goddess Bastet was originally depicted with the head of a lion and then reimagined with the head of a cat. Around 900 to 700 BCE. Around this time, cats were revered as sacred animals. And according to one of the researchers, during this time, some Egyptians would then, at some point, have welcomed these tamer wildcats into their homes, not just as sacred animals, but as pets. And then the Roman and Byzantine empires and Viking conquests blind the domestic cats as they traveled, and cats functioned as a symbol of a successive female deities, as rodent control, and even at times were stardust. These events have left a mark on the native cat breeds and local European cat populations into the present day. Sounds fascinating, right? And my friends, if you're interested in knowing the details about this topic, please check out the related articles in the description. Okay, my friends, in case you don't know me yet, I'm Judy London, a fan of Jack London. I'm a published writer who writes fiction and non-fiction novels and short stories. You're very welcome to visit my website, judyfaylondon.com, or Amazon to read my poems and my short stories. The last one, Mr. Rat, Candy the Dog, and so on, and my latest non-fiction book, Living with the Walking Dead, a roadmap for achieving your own success. I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for your kind support, and thank you very much for subscribing to my YouTube channels, Judy London and Judy Plus. Judy London is a channel that mainly talks about culture, economics, and dictators and various events and people in human history, while Judy Plus is a channel that talks about interesting discoveries in the world of science.